All right, our next guest. Well, he used to not need an introduction, but he's been MIA for so long, and we had to send out the investigative team to find him at his second home, Can't Hide Money. We have finally tracked him down, and I am very excited to welcome Matthew Clayton Flynn back to the show. My name's Jacob Hester. I don't know if you need me to reintroduce myself, but that's my name. How you doing?
Hey, guys. I'm great. Thanks for the beautiful introduction. I've missed y'all. I thought y'all lost my number because you hadn't asked me to come to radio in such a long time.
Do you want me to share the text on the back of the screen, or you just want to say that was a lie?
Well, I think we both dropped the ball, Jacob. Let's just
yeah, the story changed. But, hey, this is the perfect week to have you on. And, you and I were texting back and forth before the show. I know you and Graham Harrell are extremely close, and obviously we'll get to some of the Packers and Saints, but Graham Harrell was one of the star quarterbacks for Mike Leach. And before Mike Leach even came into the conference, I remember us having conversations on the show about how much you liked Mike Leach's offense, and it was a lot of
conversations. We had entire shows about Mike Leach.
we kind of did. But now he's in the conference. LSU faces the Pirate tomorrow. So for our listeners, kind of tell them, what you like about Mike Leach's offense and what you and Graham Harrell will kind of talk about as far as concepts and different things.
Yeah, I mean, so the Mike Leach offense is obviously different, right? Different than anything that we've probably seen in the SEC, or at least in a long time. And what that offense does in the SEC is it just creates a problem, right? It creates a pain in the butt to coordinate against, to prep against. It's just something different. It's kind of like having the same concept of having somebody that runs a triple option in your conference. It just creates an issue because it's so different. I hesitate saying the word unique because a lot of people throw the ball a lot, but their offense is just a little bit different. And I don't know a ton of the real intricacies of the offense, but I did have a lot of conversations with Graham during our time in Green Bay about kind of the theory behind it, a little bit of the play calls and things like that. And it's unlike offense that I've ever been a part of, Jacob, where you ever been a part of. I know you were a number system guy. I was never a number system. I was kind of a hybrid West Coast guy, and I would say probably 45% of the NFL teams are some sort of hybrid West Coast, and 45% are number system, and then the other 10 is just a combo of everything. And so there's no one that's real familiar with this. They go into a game with probably, they're not going to have many plays. So they might throw the ball 65 times, but they might have only called 10 pass plays the whole game. They have answers and they have options to all different coverages that you're going to see, all different looks. One thing that was really unique that it blew my mind when Graham was telling me this is the pass protection that they do. Now, mind you, this is like Graham played like 10 years ago because we're all old as dirt now. But so it might have changed. But, in his Texas Tech years, they never made protection adjustments. So basically, Jacob, you and I are going to kind of know what this is, but they dual protection everything. So everything is and what a dual protection means is basically it's like zone blocking for the offensive line. They're going to make their pass sets, and they're going to come and block whoever's in their zone. It's not going to be the traditional, 4 down and Will, 4 down Mike, 4 down Sam. It's not going to be any of that calls. You're not going to hear the quarterback, barking out Mike calls and things like that. They're gonna basically block zones. So, if the quarterback sees zero blitz, or if he sees a strong dog or weak dog or corner blitz coming, he doesn't make the adjustments. He's just got to hope and basically pray that the offensive line is going to pick it up and sort it out. And the sorting out, it takes a while for that chemistry to work as the offensive line. So, this has been a lot of prep time for that offensive line, but I'm going to be really intrigued to see the offensive line, defensive line match up this weekend. We know Bo likes to bring pressure. How does that young offensive line for Mississippi State, I say young, I don't know their ages, but with a new offense, as a new pass protection scheme, I'm going to call it a young unit. How are they going to pick up and sort out different games and different loops and different stunts and different looks that we know that Bo Pelini's going to throw at them? So that's going to be what I'm going to be watching a lot. It worked in the Big 12. It worked, in the Pac-12. But in the SEC, we know all the front sevens. SEC is known for having great front sevens. So is it going to work against SEC? It's not going to work every week, but they will create enough of a problem at some point. So they're going to beat somebody good this year.
Matt, what defensive concepts give this offense the most problems? Would it be a team that blitzed a lot? Would you expect something like that, or is that not the way to attack this group?
The problem with attacking this group is the outlets and the options that the Mike Leach offense gives you. I mean, he's going to have quick hitters. He's going to have every play that they run is basically going to have some options. So if you can figure out what those options are, I mean, it's hard to at the beginning of the year, but they're going to have a drag outlet or a quick out outlet or a 5-yard hitch outlet by a running back split out wide. They're going to try to make some options. So you can figure out a way to get pressure and confuse that offensive line and get back to the quarterback in 2 or 3 seconds while taking away the outlets. It helps. Now, again, first game of the season, how quick is that quarterback going to recognize a blitz and recognize a problem area blitz and get to the outlet? That all kind of remains to be seen. He's been thrown against the same color jerseys for 4 months now, 3 months now, whatever it is, longest training camp in the world. So when the lights come on, what happens? But the hardest defense for really, if you're not going to blitz, the hardest defense for any quarterback to throw against in a pass heavy offense is cover 2 man, which
right.
is you're playing 2 safeties high and you're playing man inside leverage on everybody. So everybody's taught to defenders are taught to take the middle of the field away, which quarterbacks love attacking the middle of the field. But it does open yourself up to quarterback run because then you have nobody manned up nobody left to roam and take the quarterback. So that's kind of the best defense for a pass happy offense. But it does open yourself up to the middle of the field if they got a killer tight end or the quarterback run.
Matt, what's Myles thinking right now? I mean, we've had this conversation so many times, but it's here now. Like, this is Myles Brennan's team. And just like you, he waited his turn. He was behind a guy who got picked number 1 overall in the NFL draft, right? And Myles, just like you played in his career as well. It's not the first time that he's going to be playing, but when you got that opportunity for the first time, what was going through your mind before we played Mississippi State in that opener?
I just remember being just like uncontrollably excited, right? It's like you waited so long. If I started earlier in my career, I probably have some nerves. I might be a little nervous, but like by that point, I'd waited so dang long to play and for the team to be mine, right? Mm-hmm. I just couldn't wait for it to get there. We played. It was the opening kickoff game for the year, so we played on Thursday night. I think we played Mississippi State. And it was like the longest day ever. It was like hurry up. Which for once in my life, I wish we had like an earlier game, right? So I know he's excited. I know he's extremely prepared. Just from the amount of time they've had, he spent his time, and he is. I'm very proud of kind of the path that Myles taken for obvious reasons that I haven't been hesitant to share. But I'm proud that he was big enough to say early in his career, hey, I might not be ready to play. I'm good enough to play here, but I might just not be ready. So he took his time and got to learn from one of the best to ever do it last year. And I'm just excited to watch him play, just like everybody else. I love watching quarterbacks, and that's a cliche, but how he handles the offense, and just I wouldn't be surprised if he overthrows his first 2 throws tomorrow. Just from adrenaline pumping, being excited. I learned that early on, that as a quarterback you can't hype yourself up too much, because then you're just going to throw it over someone's head right at the beginning. So hopefully he settles into the game really quickly. I'd love to see him get a couple of quick hitters, maybe some wide receiver screen first play of the game, maybe a little rollout screen, something like that. As a quarterback, just seeing somebody with the right color jersey catch a pass, no matter if it gets 0 yards or 5 yards, it doesn't matter. It just gets you into the rhythm of the game. So I'd love to see them come out and just hit a little quick something and let them get into the rhythm.
Matt, let's change subjects for just a second. The Saints play the Packers on Sunday night. Green Bay's off to a great start. Aaron Rodgers is off to a great start. I think when we asked you after the draft how Rodgers would respond to the Packers draft and Jordan Love, I think you answered something in the terms of it's probably going to piss him off. That certainly appears to be what has happened here. You spent 6 years in Green Bay with him. You know him very well. I guess this is no surprise to you that he's responded in this fashion.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, this might not be the right show during the day to talk about this, but you guy might have taken a futures bet on the MVP race with it. I don't know, but I'm not surprised. So Aaron's been starting for what? He's been starting since 2008. He got drafted in 05 or 06. He's been playing this game for a long time. My time with him, he's one of these guys that thrives on being pissed off, having chips on his shoulders. I remember, Aaron would always, he'd find ways to piss himself off, right? He would bring up having to go to JUCO out of high school. He'd bring up like Pete Carroll. We were playing Seattle. He would talk about how Pete Carroll didn't recruit him, or out of junior college. Like he just always finds these ways to piss himself off, right? And he thrives on that. And he plays this long. It's hard to stay motivated and find reasons to be pissed off for that long, right? And so, he kind of, new coach the last couple of years, and he hadn't had his best seasons. And I can guarantee you, players say that they don't listen to chatter, but I can guarantee you Aaron was hearing the chatter about him. And then maybe this was like maybe the Green Bay front office was playing chess and we're all playing checkers. Maybe they drafted Jordan Love to piss Aaron off. I don't know. That could be there. I just created a theory right here, but you're going to take a guy that's one of the best to ever do it, certainly one of the most talented arms to ever do it, and you give him motivation. That's something to be worried about. Now, 16-game season, I don't know if he can keep that pace, or anybody can keep that pace for 16 games. Certainly, I'm assuming most Saints fans sure hope that he doesn't. But I would look for him having a big game again this week. That's just me. A lot of people, they were a good team last year. A lot of people said it was the flukiest 13-3 team, and I don't disagree with it. I mean, you look at it, it was probably Aaron's worst season as a QB, but man, they had some studs on defense. They have some studs around them. I still wish they would have surrounded him with a couple more weapons on offense, but those guys are good enough. And Aaron can take someone average and make them good. He can take someone good and make them great. He's got a guy like Devontae Adams who's great. What's the next level above that? I mean, that's just a dangerous combo.
He's actually got a running back in Aaron Jones this year. We've talked about
I'm telling you.
so many different times. When Eddie Lacy was there, that was actually Aaron at his best, in my opinion, just to have a guy that you can trust and hand the football to. Hey, before we let you go, and by the way, I mean, this is so 2020, the fact that we've had Matt Flynn on and we've been talking football, and I haven't got one meth gator mentioned in yet. So we'll stick with the same theme here. Drew Brees on the other side. You were teammates with Aaron, but you're also teammates with
Meth
Drew.
Gators.
Okay, there we go. Fair enough. We got to throw one in there. You were teammates with Drew. He looks off. He just looks a little off. He doesn't look like he's in his normal rhythm. Is there anything that you've seen that you can say, okay, well, maybe it's this and it's not necessarily his age or the injuries that he's been through?
No, I mean, I can't pinpoint anything. No, I mean, I know Drew thrives on preparation, right? And I don't know if, the lack of, having a lack of the time in the off season and things like that have affected him. I know he thrives on that. He thrives on being scheduled. He thrives on mental reps, physical reps, and he's done it for a long time. So, is that a reason? Can you blame it on that? I don't know. He certainly looks off. Watching him play, it's not the Drew Brees we all know and have watched for forever. But it's also not to say he hadn't had a couple of bad games in his career before, a couple of bad games in a season. Maybe it's just a thing where there's been two in a row. Everyone's throwing up red flags, and maybe maybe the Drew Brees we know will come out this week. It certainly looks like he's trying to guide the ball. He's pushing it with his shoulder a little bit. And when you kind of get into that mode, then you're not very accurate. If you're not just like cutting it loose and letting it rip, then you're not going to be consistently accurate. So, I don't know if there's the coverage downfield is making him get to his third and fourth guy. And by that time, there's just not enough like practice reps or game reps or whatever in the last couple of months to where he can get to that third or fourth receiver and without his, feet being messed up or his arm, whatever it is. I don't know. But he certainly looks off, and he just doesn't look like he has the same pop coming off of his hands. And I don't know if, it might be an age thing, but that might also be a cop-out argument. Everybody's been saying that for years with him. I know Father Time wins every battle, but it's hard for me to blame it on that. I just know it doesn't look the same coming out of his hands right now.
Matt, don't be a stranger, man. Want to hear from you again before a couple of months. I'll make sure Hester's got your number.
Should we schedule like the next meeting like ahead of time maybe, so we've got to hold you to it, or should we just let it happen organically?
No, organically is kind of the way. If you can't wrangle me in a week out, man.
That's a week out, hours out. You kidding?
Take it easy, Matt.
11:30 today. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right.
See you, Matt.